Welcome back, Elaine, to the Zoom room again for another session, or to Letting Go live session. So today we're going to, again, look at our inspirational quote. There's a message related to that, and that'll lead us nicely into our lesson and into the text. We're gonna have a look at the Song of Prayer today. Start the final supplement of A Course in Miracles. So jump into all of this. Okay. Let's share my screen with you. All right, so if you can read that headline quote for us.
Yeah. Peace is the altar of God, the condition in which happiness exists.
Yeah, a guy called Paramahansa Yogananda said that. He was an Indian yogi and spiritual teacher, was one of the holy men of India who brought the teaching and practice of yoga to the West in the first half of the 20th century. I've just done a yoga class actually earlier this evening. So why is yoga so popular? How did it become so? It certainly wasn't so 100 years ago. No one had heard of it. It was because of men like him who came over and they started spreading the teachings, and it started coming into popular Western culture as a result. The yoga, that is popular is typically more physical yoga. It's the hatha yoga and, stretching and variations like hot yoga, which I did this evening. But still embedded in it, there was a spiritual message. The lady was talking about transformation and change, and there's a bit of chanting, and so that kind of runs through the yogic tradition. So the quote really reminds us that happiness can only exist when your mind is at peace. So it's what I call foundational happiness, without which you cannot be authentically happy. But if your mind is not at peace, then you're not happy. It's as simple as that. So any seeming happiness you experience without the foundation of inner peace is merely a temporary satisfaction experienced as a result of seeking some external goal that cannot satisfy you for very long, because nothing external to you that seemingly exists in the world of form is real. So we can, if you set egoic goals, you can experience a temporary satisfaction, which can become very addictive, but it never lasts. That's the thing with the ego's goals. It's all very temporary, and then very soon the dissatisfaction sets in again. The Buddha called dukkha, and then you have to go seeking again for some kind of resolution to that dissatisfaction in another temporary egoic goal. So that's the treadmill that ego's got us on. So it's very tempting to look outside of you for this elusive state of happiness. That's what the ego's programming is. Most of the world believes in this. That you'll someday find find this elusive state of happiness when you've attained some goal related to the external world that you set yourself. So when that temptation comes, consciously let go of it, this temptation to deny your own happiness, which is to hurt yourself. As the Buddha noticed 2,500 years ago, desire or craving for something else perceived as outside you is the source of all unhappiness or suffering. An insight that became the second noble truth of Buddhism. So today, instead of looking for happiness where you'll never find it, in egoic goals you need to do something to achieve, focus rather on stilling your mind, which, as Yogananda observes in today's quote, is the condition in which happiness is naturally present. So the phrase altar of God means the foundation of perfect love. when translated into alternative language, alternative language, tells you that you can only experience peace when you are aware of perfect love or oneness. So they go together. Peace comes when you experience love or oneness, and peace is the foundation of happiness. So love equals peace equals happiness. And they're really just different words that point you to the same state of mind. State of mind which you connected to your source and you naturally feel, could say happy, but just okay. Just I'm at peace, I'm okay with myself and life. That's that's a grounded being. That's a foundational state. That sounds very simple, but in this world it's not. To actually attain that state and stay there permanently is enlightenment. So, to help you reflect on this truth today, that actually only love is the source of peace and happiness. I set a powerful pattern for the rest of the year. Emotion. So look at the translation into alternative language of the headline quote. So if you can read that.
Stillness is the foundation of perfect love, the condition which happiness is naturally experienced.
Stillness, as the foundation of perfect love. So when you rest in this deep stillness, love is there.
Yeah.
Love is pure formless awareness. So it is by definition still, and that's then the condition in which this base state of happiness, foundational happiness, is naturally experienced. So stillness becomes key, which is why all the spiritual practices tend to focus on stilling the mind. Meditation, conscious letting go, any process really is designed to still the mind and bring it back into a more centered state. So peace and happiness arise naturally when your mind is still. Practice of consciously stilling your mind is known as meditation, or in some spiritual traditions as prayer. We're going to talk about the Song of Prayer today, so there's a nice lead into that as well, an introduction to the Song of Prayer. But whatever you call it, what's important is that you make time every day to do it, to experience the benefits it brings, to bring more peace and happiness immediately, and in the long term, a peaceful, happy, flowing experience of life as your default state. And this happy, peaceful, quote, flow state, because that's really what flow means. You're happy and at peace. You can sustain that state, maintain that state for more than just a few moments. So this flow state can only be obscured by separating thoughts and emotions that negate it. Hence, they are called negative, or if you want to pronounce it, negative. That makes it very clear. Those they are negative because they negate or deny your true awareness. And so we call them negative thoughts and emotions. And so the only way to reconnect with this awareness and the peace, happiness, joy, and flowing freedom it inevitably leads to experience is to let them go and allow it to arise in your awareness. So pretty obvious. It's not rocket science. If something negates or denies your true awareness, then the obvious thing to do is let go of what negates or denies your true awareness, and what will be left is your true awareness. All right. So this is what Yeshua advises us to practice. That's why he advises practice to letting our minds, which is the same as letting go of negative thoughts and hence false thoughts and emotions. He asks us to do this over and over using the workbook lessons in the course, and that's why I've recorded meditations and breath breaks to help you to keep practicing and restore your mind when you find yourself going out of this flow state and wandering into the ego's domain, you can do a breath break if you've only got a few minutes, or you can do a longer meditation, and those tools are immediately available for you on the Telegram group and on email. So why not set the intention to listen to the longer meditations I send you twice a day, ideally in the morning and the evening, and listen to the shorter breath breaks at least 3 times every day in between these longer meditations as your resolution for today. So meditation and radical forgiveness, letting go, undoubtedly the most powerful spiritual practices you can do. Stop hurting yourself with your own negative thinking. Become aware again of your true nature as pure formless awareness of perfect love. So there's no more empowering resolution you could possibly make than this one. And if you're worried about what happens in the level of form, how this will benefit you materially because lack of money is an issue, bear in mind that many highly successful and wealthy business people, like Steve Jobs, who's the founder of Apple, Oprah Winfrey, Deepak Chopra, and others immediately come to mind, have made meditation and other spiritual practices an integral part of their daily lives. In fact, it was one of Steve Jobs' last wishes that every person who attended his funeral should be given a copy of Paramahansa Yogananda's autobiography at his funeral, because it had been such an important book that guided him during his life. So important that he read it every year, apparently. So it was like his Bible. So I've given it to you. You can just click on the link and you'll see it there. You can download it. So definitely worth reading that. I've read it. It's a great book to read. Okay, so any thoughts or comments on this? Just give me a moment. Just going to close the doors. We've got some TV going on, so I'll need to block that out. All right. Okay, so any questions on that, Elaine? You good? Shall we have a look at our lesson? So where are we? It's in 3:30. Let's look at this is the last time we're doing what is creation. Just you can read that in the alternative. It's 5 short paragraphs, and we'll go into the lesson. You're muted, Elaine.
Sorry. Creation is the extension of perfect love and the totality of its awareness, infinite and everywhere without any limit. Only perfect love creates or extends, and only like itself. There was no time when all that it extends was not there, nor will there be a time when anything that extends suffers any loss. Perfect love's awareness is eternally the same, unchanged throughout time and after time is over. So it's just the creation is the extension of perfect love, and it's limitless, infinite, and it extends like itself, and it's unchanged throughout time and time when time is over. It's eternal.
So it's always already there. This is what it's saying. So it was never not there. It's still there. That's why it's eternal and changeless. And this is why you can rely on it. Everything in time changes, therefore cannot be relied on. But this is the one thing that you can rely on that will never change. It's been called by some philosophers the ground of being, alternative name. So creation, being, is the extension of perfect love, totality of its awareness. It's eternally the same, unchanged throughout time after time is over. It remains constant, static. So it's the one thing you can rely on. Okay, number two.
Perfect love's awareness is given all the power that its own source has, for it adds to love by its extension, and so its extension shares in the extension and must therefore share in power to extend. What pure formless awareness of perfect love intends to be forever one will still be one when time is over and will not be changed throughout the course of time, remaining as it was before the thought of time began. So it's just about the time in this, it's just a time, it's not to do with the time as we know it, because it's there when time is over, before it began, and it's all just love that extends itself, and it's all in its pure formless awareness of perfect love intends to be forever one and always will be one. And back to the time again. Before time began, and when time's finished, it'll always be there.
It's above the battleground of time and space. If you look at it, diagrammatic forms is not a bad way to visualize it, but it sits above a timeline. So where's the diagram? There we go, timeline. So this is the timeline of consciousness. We seem to be stuck on it, going from birth to death and various experiences in between. Some of them pleasant, some of them not pleasant, many not pleasant, fair amount of suffering, pain, eventually death. This is saying, well, above this reality, the seeming reality of time and everything that happens here lies this unchanging awareness. And it's always available to you because it's your fundamental awareness. It cannot be changed. You might go to sleep for a while and forget about it, which is exactly what's happened with the ego and its dream of form. And eventually every mind will awaken, has to awaken, because the power of spirit is greater than that of the ego. And so we then, once we go into this state, we are timeless. We're not in time anymore. We've attained a timeless state, an out of time interval, in which the laws of time don't apply. And that then allows a miracle. So on the reverse journey, we go up into our pure formless awareness of perfect love. And then that awareness allows us to come back down and perceive the world differently. Okay, so above the battleground, you really want to stay as much in this awareness as possible. And your job here is to let go of the psychological and emotional attachments of the ego and systematically, progressively raise your mind into this awareness. That function is your only function. That's what forgiveness is. All right. So no, we don't want to go back there. We want to go into that. So moving on to number 3 then.
Yeah. Being is the opposite of all illusions, for being is the truth.
It was creation. Yeah? So I've translated creation as being. Being is the truth. Yeah, just the ground of being, some philosophers would call it. It just is. It's the isness of being that is, despite all illusions, it remains. And once you tap into it, then you become one with that being or creation. All right, so creation is opposite of all illusions. For creation is truth. Being is the truth. Being is the opposite of all illusions. Being is the truth. And carry on.
Extension of being is the pure formless awareness, extension of perfect love. For in being,
Pure formlessly aware. So pure formlessly aware.
Pure
extension of perfect
formlessly aware, extension of perfect love. For in being, its awareness is complete in every aspect, making every part container of the whole. Its oneness is forever guaranteed to be perfect and eternally held within its pure, formless awareness, beyond all possibility of harm, separation, imperfection, and any blemish on its innocence. So this one's talking about the being, which is the opposite to the illusions, which is the human part. And then there's the being part. And the being is the truth of who we are.
Yeah. When you think about the people say we're human beings, there's a split there. It's two words.
Yeah.
And that's the paradox. On the one level, we think we're human. That's the body, the personality, personal identity. That's the part that thinks it lives in time, that is human, and with all of human frailties and problems, and eventually doomed to die. All humans die. And then you've got the being part, which symbolizes something else. It points to some eternal quality of being, of life, which most, try to fudge this. The being and the human. It's like somehow we try and reconcile this. Most teachings try to do that. This teaching is saying you can't do that. You are either human or you're being. But you can't be both because being is eternal. Being doesn't change. Being has nothing to do with the human experience of time and shift and change and decay and death at all. Being is eternal. So drop the human and just be being.
Well, they often say it's an art to just being, or you often hear people saying that it's an art to just being.
Yeah. And in this world it is. Because we've set up a world that is in opposition to being. We've set up a world where apparently you have to do all kinds of stuff. And if you don't do all kinds of stuff, then you're seen as a bit weird and a bit of an outcast, and also society structured in a way that in order to earn a living, you have to do stuff, earn money. So it's very much a doing, become human doings rather than human beings. And the return to our true self is a return to that being and just accepting it as who we are, that it is already whole, complete, and perfect. Nothing else you need to do. So it's the opposite of all illusions. The ground of being, some philosophers would call it. The isness, it just is. You can't really say very much about it. All right, so just a point there that the holy will is pure formless awareness. That's how we translate holy will.
Right.
Will is awareness, holy is pure. So it's the pure formless awareness. Beyond all possibility of harm, separation, imperfection, any blemish on its innocence, on its purity, maybe we'll say. So by definition, if you're in pure formless awareness, there can be no blemish. There can be nothing else because it is pure formless awareness. So the word points you directly to the nature of God, what it really is, beyond all possibility of harm, separation, imperfection, and any sin. Yeah, so it's never changed. It's always been, always has been, always will be the same. And therein lies, your comfort and your peace and your security. You know that this will never change. It's always there, and you can always return to it. It's never actually gone away. All right. So happy to move to number 4.
Yeah. As the extension of perfect love, we are being. We seem to be separate and unaware of our eternal unity with it. Yet behind all our doubts and past all our fears, there is still certainty. For love remains with all its thoughts, its sureness being theirs. Perfect love's memory is in our pure minds, which knows their oneness and their unity with their source. Let my function be only to let this memory return, only to let perfect love's awareness come to me and everyone, only to be restored to sanity, and only to be as pure formless awareness of love extends me. So it's about the being again, and that we're actually the extensions of this perfect love being, but we appear to be separate, and we're unaware of this eternal being. But behind all these doubts and fears that we have, there is still certainty. There is still love's remain in our thoughts. And we need to just let this memory return, because it's always there for all of us, every one of us. Sanity will
And
be
that is,
restored.
that's the hallmark of the perennial philosophy, which Course in Miracles is part of. It's saying you don't have to become it, you don't have to grow into it. It's already there. It's always been there. So you just have to relax, let go, and surrender into it. And that's a very different kind of energy from I've got to become something I'm not.
And doing
Keep striving to become, keep
doing all
seeking and
this.
never finding. When does growth stop?
Yeah.
Growth never stops if you're in that mindset. And this is what the Buddha noticed. He said, well, this is suffering. The source of suffering is this craving, this desiring, even desiring to be a better self. We go, well, surely that's a good thing. I want to improve myself. Even that is now, it's a craving, it's a desire, and it leads you to suffering because you're really saying, I'm not okay as I am. See, whenever you do that, you're really affirming in your mind, you're saying, no, I'm not okay as I am. So I need to do this and this and this, and then maybe I'll be okay. But by trying to do that, you are really, by your actions, affirming that you're not okay already. And so there's this kind of desperation energy, this quality of striving and never actually getting it, never achieving it, because that's the way you set the game up. And this is the antidote. This says, well, it's always already there, always has been there, always will be there. Just recognize it. Just take the time to be quiet, to be still, let go of all of those false egoic thoughts, and you'll see that it's already there. Yeah. So all right. Any other thoughts on that?
That's
It's very
good.
simple, but it's very profound, isn't it? It's like, okay,
Oh, it is.
it's always there. It's always there, and one just has to remind yourself of it.
And
When
I think we
illusion
all,
gets tiring.
Yeah, we all know that. It's just we get so blocked with the ego in its miserable self. So, but we do deep
I think
down.
most people don't know. Most people
Oh,
don't know it. They've
oh, I see. Yeah,
so
right.
disidentified. Well, if they knew it,
Yes.
then they'd be awakening, they'd be on a spiritual
Yeah.
path.
Yeah. Right.
Um,
Right. Right.
People who are awakening, you're on this path, you know it on some level, but then
Right. Right.
it's easy to forget it in the
Yeah.
mad illusion.
Exactly.
It's easy
When things,
things
that challenges. Yeah.
go wrong, things don't go your way. It's easy
Yeah.
to start judging on the level of form and forgetting that this pure formless awareness that's beyond it is always there and it hasn't changed one bit, irrespective of whatever the thing is that's happened, the event,
Mm.
circumstance, irrespective of the thoughts and emotions that you or anyone else is experiencing in response to this. It has not changed. And that's very, very comforting.
Yeah.
You can just kind of drop into that and rest in that and go, ah, I'm home. I can stop all the
Non.
striving. Okay, so last one, number 5.
My source calls to me. I hear its voice and let go of all blocks to the extension of perfect love in the name of its source, pure formless awareness of perfect love itself, whose pure formless awareness of perfect love its own extension shares, whose pure formless awareness of perfect love is still a part of me and everyone. So it's just saying to us that our source is forever trying to call to us, and it wants us to hear its voice, but we need to let go of all these blocks to the extension
Mm.
of perfect love.
Mm. Once you understand, you see how this philosophy of it's always there leads to then directly the practice of forgiveness or letting go. Because if it's
Yeah.
always there, all you have to do is let go of what blocks it. And logically, then what will reveal itself is this awareness that's always been there. If you deny it and you say, no, I'm really not okay as I am, but um, I could become better so I can improve myself and I can learn and I can grow, then
Mm-hmm.
you are not accepting that it's already there. In fact, you're saying it's not there. But if I do certain things, maybe you know, I'll find it,
Mm.
I'll achieve it. And you can never achieve your fundamental being. It's given. It's not something you achieve. It's just a given.
Already there.
And
Yeah. Yeah. It's tuning into it, and
yeah,
yeah.
you accept it or you don't. That's what it comes down to. You accept it, in which case, then no more lessons. If you fully accepted it, then you accept only that reality and nothing else as real. So nothing else bothers you. That's, to walk the world as an enlightened being,
So that would
which
be
is,
interesting. So would Jesus be able to sit and meditate for hours with a mosquito buzzing around him?
I don't
So
know.
that's a trying
At
thing,
the
isn't it?
at the highest level, yeah. I don't know whether he went into samadhi states. Quite possibly did. But it's been recorded. People like Ramana would
Yeah.
sit for weeks in meditation
And
in the
have all these
superconscious state,
irritations.
and the mosquitoes and flies and gnats and whatever would just crawl all over his body. He wasn't bothered
Right.
because he wasn't really there.
Yeah.
He was
Just that
so
he,
deep in this other realm that his awareness had been withdrawn completely from the body and from its senses.
mm,
And so, yeah, at the highest level, because he's not really even there. His mind has gone into its own, its true awareness and has withdrawn itself from the body.
yeah.
So, yeah, it is all possible. In practice, for most people, that's a very high level. There's a
Yeah.
fly or something buzzing, a mosquito buzzing. Well, maybe you want
And
to
biting
just
you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you move. That's why actually in the Vipassana they say that we're going to meditate indoors, even if
Yeah,
it's a nice day and it's tempting to go out. Because if you're outside, you expose yourself to, all kinds of things, mosquitoes and various other insects. And it's
yeah.
also
It's a
very tempting then for
distraction.
people
It'd be too
to do their
distracting.
own thing. It's
Yeah,
distracting, yeah. So
yeah,
it's like, no, focus. We're going inside because, your eyes are closed and it doesn't really matter. Being outside or inside doesn't really matter.
mm,
What matters is the practice.
yeah.
Okay, so any other thoughts on what is creation? A nice section. We finished it now. Just a reminder, really. So creation, if you were going to summarize it for time, what is creation? How would you answer that question?
Um, well, creation is the extension of the source, and it's our true being, and it's perfect love.
Mm. Creation,
So,
really, at the highest level, is just that being. We call the ground of being by some philosophers. So it's the
yeah,
pure formless awareness of perfect love. It's the being that's
in
never
every one of
changed.
us.
And then in language, we say, well, we're the extension of that being. Actually,
Yeah,
we just are that being. We are that awareness. Um,
yeah,
we in truth, there's no extension in heaven. It just is a complete state already. But we use the language like extension and so on, an extension of perfect love to connect us.
with all of the living beings.
Yeah. So it helps us connect into that deeper awareness, stay in that awareness, and be able to see everything from the filter of that awareness.
Mm.
And that is really what the course is about. Changing your perception based on this mind training. So you just let go of everything that blocks creation or true being, and what remains must be true being. That's the simple premise on which this whole course rests and on which forgiveness has a sure foundation. So yeah, just feel into it, onto that. So this is lesson 330. Today, a very simple one. You can read that, no translation necessary.
I will not hurt myself again today.
No, I will not hurt myself again today, because that's what the ego is always trying to do. It was just saying, well, just don't do it. Stop doing it. Very simple. You're hitting your head against a brick wall, which is really what Yeshua's saying here, then stop doing it. Saying, I can't help you very much if you're going to want to continue doing it. Okay, so I'll not hurt myself again. Today is a good, strong resolution there. And then number one, just read that in the original sentence by sentence, and then the alternative sentence by sentence.
Let us this day accept forgiveness as our only function. I choose to accept letting go as my only function today. Why should we attack our minds and give them images of pain?
Just
Why
disappear.
should I? Yeah.
Just
Why
start
should
again,
I?
disappear.
So why should I
Disappear.
attack my mind and give it images of pain? Yeah. So
Just
what you
start from
mean?
the top, because you for some reason, this is probably your internet, just disappeared for about 20
Oh,
seconds.
did I?
Oh, yeah. So just read it from number one.
In the alternative, I choose. Yeah. I choose to accept letting go as my only function today.
Yeah.
Why
That's
should
good.
we Why should we attack our minds and give them images of pain? Why should I attack my mind and give it images of pain? Why should we teach them they are powerless when God holds out his power and his love and bids them take what is already theirs? Why should I teach it that it is powerless when pure formless awareness of perfect love holds out its power and love and employs it to accept what is already its own? The mind that is made willing to accept God's gifts has been restored to spirit and extends its freedom and its joy, as is the will of God united with its own. The mind that is made willing to accept perfect love's gifts has been restored to pure formless awareness.
Okay.
Right. Yeah,
Still
so
there?
I'm just, yes, the mind that has made willing to accept perfect love's gifts has been restored to pure formless awareness and extends its freedom and its joy as pure formless awareness of perfect love becomes its own. The self which God created cannot sin and therefore cannot suffer. The self which pure formless awareness of perfect love extends cannot sin and therefore cannot suffer. Let us choose today that he be our identity and thus escape forever from all things the dream of fear appears to offer us. I choose today that it be my identity and so escape forever from all things the dream of fear appears to offer me. From the top,
Yeah. An
I
alternative.
choose to accept letting go as my only function today. Why should I attack my mind and give it images of pain? Why should I teach it that it is powerless when pure formless awareness of perfect love holds out its power and love and employs it to accept what is already its own? The mind that is made willing to accept perfect love's gifts has been restored to pure formless awareness and extends its freedom and joy as pure formless awareness of perfect love becomes its own. The self which pure formless awareness of perfect love extends cannot sin and therefore cannot suffer. I choose today that it be my identity and so escape forever from all things the dream of fear appears to offer me. So it's just saying to accept, to choose to accept letting go be our function. And why would we want to allow all these attacks on our mind and accept all these painful images when we can choose the power of pure formless awareness of perfect love and accept it as our own?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would we choose fear? And all the things the dream of fear appears to offer me. So
Yes.
today I experienced the downside, these various projects, and then it doesn't go your way, and then of course there's a disappointment, even if it's subtle. It's a feeling of not quite, some things aren't quite right, and peace isn't quite there, and happiness is disturbed, and so this is what he's saying. The dream of fear appears to offer you various things. Oh, you could go and you could do this or do that or this project, or you could make that work, you could make money, or whatever it is. But actually, when you really look at it carefully, you see that it's just more of the same. It's a dream of fear. And the downside of any opportunity, anything that excites you, is, well, actually, it could also go wrong. It may not happen. And so then you find fear arising. what happens if it doesn't work? See?
Yeah,
And so this
it's
is
still always there. Yeah.
desire and fear. So it's flipped two sides of the same coin. I desire something, then the more I desire it, the more I fear that it won't happen. And that, of course, disturbs my peace. I'm not at peace then.
Yeah.
I'm not in pure form of the awareness of perfect love. And he's saying, let all this go, escape forever from all things. So this is everything, maybe. It's translated as everything. Everything. Everything.
Mm.
A dream of fear appears to offer me. So that may appear to be quite attractive on the face of it. Or, there's a good opportunity, or it's a, special relationship, or um, opportunity to experience something nice, an adventure, pleasure, so on. Ego offers you seemingly all of this. But if you really look at it carefully and honestly, you see that it's just a dream of fear and that it's more of the same, right? Because you accept that, then you also accept the downside of it, that whatever that is that excited you or attracted you is not always going to be there.
No,
It will
that
fade away, it will die. And
that
often it's very temporary. It's not there at all.
it
Like
is
some of
an
the stuff I'm
example.
working on, these are business deals, and they may not happen. They may not materialize. So they may not even be there at
But
all.
you could also win it, but then also lose it. Well, like an
Yeah.
example is I was super host and then I lost it. So
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah,
It's not permanent. So you can't rely on that which is impermanent, whatever the ego gives you.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
no permanence to it. It can give and then it can take away. And it
yeah.
frequently does.
Oh
Because
yes,
its goal is to cause pain and suffering. So it knows that if your mind is untrained, if you attach to something and you give it an importance and a meaning, and then it takes it away, you're going to suffer
it does. Yeah,
inevitably. So that becomes the way if it needs to experience some more pain, which it does periodically. Eckhart Tolle calls it the pain body. It needs to experience that pain and suffering to confirm its identity as a separate self. Then it will create a situation where what you wanted, desired, is not there, and then you suffer accordingly. Yeah. So, any other thoughts on number one?
yeah, that's good. Yes, yeah, it's clear.
Nope. So just the short prayer in the lesson.
Father, your Son cannot be hurt. My source, your extension, cannot be hurt. And if we think we suffer, we but fail to know our one identity we share with you. And if I think I suffer, I only fail to know my one identity I share with you. We would return to it today to be made free forever from all our mistakes and to be saved from what we thought we were. I choose to return to it today to be set free from all my mistakes forever and to be awakened from what I thought I was. From the top, my source, your extension, cannot be hurt. And if I think I suffer, I only fail to know my one identity I share with you. I choose to return to it today to be set free from all my mistakes forever and to be awakened from what I thought I was. So it's
What's he saying there?
appealing to our source and to let us know that we can't be hurt.
Yeah. The one identity he's talking about is the Christ, the true self. So he's asking us to raise ourselves up, our awareness up into this state, no matter what seems to be going on here. And that process is called forgiveness. So you identify with the true self, you know that you are one self, that you're really an extension of this pure formless awareness of perfect love. The true self knows that that is its true awareness, and it's just extended by it, and it remains rooted in that self. And even while it can perceive the world, just doesn't misperceive. So now it has true perceptions or Christ's vision, which are miraculous in nature, they're corrective in nature, they're all about forgiving or letting go, surrendering or accepting the salvation or awakening or enlightenment or one-ment or satori or rebirth, whatever you want to call it. It's about accepting all of that. And then once you're firmly established in the true self, God takes the final step and you will automatically merge with pure formless awareness of perfect love when you're ready. So his teaching is saying, I'll train you more and more how to identify with the true self and how to let go of everything in time and space that is false, and therefore of the false self concept that has made all of this up. Become more and more identified with the true self, you'd be in an excellent position for revelation to happen. And that is God taking the final step and just really merge back in. It's kind of a gentle surrender or merging into this awareness of perfect love, and just remaining, knowing that it's eternal and cannot change. Okay, so that's the Holy Trinity again, construct coming into this. Any other thoughts on this?
I know, that's good.
Okay, so I will not hurt myself again. It's really just a call to awaken to our true self. The little self always hurt itself, but the true self cannot be hurt because it's eternal. It shares the qualities of the being from which it is extended. So it cannot be hurt, cannot suffer, it cannot die. That's what today's lesson is saying. So stop hurting yourself, because hurt and pain are of the ego, and they make the separate self and its world very real. And that's their whole purpose. Keep you away from pure formless awareness of perfect love forever. Okay. So any other thoughts on the lesson?
That's clear.
Yeah, it's really saying, stop hitting your head on the brick wall. Stop beating your head against the brick wall. I will not hurt myself again. Stop doing it. He's saying, I can't help you very much if you want to continue hurting yourself with the kinds of thoughts and emotions that characterize the ego. You will never find love and peace and joy and your true self if you do that. So we must be willing to stop hurting ourselves. So as simple as that. Seems completely obvious, doesn't it? It's like, duh. Well,
Yeah.
obviously,
That
how
includes,
can you find happiness if you continually hurt yourself? Yes, obviously, but people do because we're insane. The ego is insane. It's very strongly and persistently insane. People hurt themselves all the time,
yeah.
and they do it unconsciously. They'll do it in the things that they do, their behaviors, the habits they have, the words they speak, the lifestyle habits. So met some guys over the weekend. This guy's like just smoking. I mean, you're just killing yourself. You're hurting yourself all the time. Why would you do that? And he's already had a heart bypass. He's only 40. You're like, why are you hurting yourself? Why are you killing yourself? Well, the answer is the subconscious guilt. Doesn't know. It's just, well, I just need to, it's a nervous habit. I just need to do something. So it's like, but because you have no control of your mind, you don't really know what you're doing. You're hurting yourself, and obviously you can see where it's going. He's going to at some point have maybe a major heart attack or something if you keep doing that. It's inevitable. And then all the stuff you're working on, business deals, it means nothing, pointless and futile because you're just continuously hurting yourself. So it's to observe that that's the tendency of so many humans, and not do it in yourself. When you recognize you're hurting yourself, even in subtle ways, like I didn't get enough sleep. Well, that's in a sense, it's hurting yourself, isn't it? Well, I did that to myself. Could have made a different choice, but I chose to, work and say get 3 or 4 hours. Well, why? Is that clever? Why are you hurting yourself in the end? And it's not really justified. In the moment, oh, well, I've got, important things to do. I've got work to do. Very tempting to believe that. So these lessons are just there to, remind us, okay, what's really important, and honor that. Stay true to the truth, and then you won't hurt yourself, and you'll have the happiest life you can possibly have. Not hurting yourself, then love and peace and happiness and joy even can be yours. But if you hurt yourself, then all of those, of course, are covered over by the hurt and the pain and suffering. All right, so common sense, but nevertheless, common sense seems to need to be studied and repeated over and over, because
For all
it's
of us,
very,
yeah.
it's not actually, it's quite uncommon sense, because most people are hurting themselves in one way or another
Yeah,
in this world. It's
true.
just saying, you've got to help you, you've got to stop it. I've got to help you to see that you're hurting yourself, and help you to stop that, futile behavior that doesn't achieve anything, to hurt yourself.
Mm.
The ego's mind, it achieves the punishment that it wants, but none of that's real. So now you punish yourself and you suffer, you die, ultimately. For what reason? Just because the ego wants to enact the story of the separation, and then apparently the sin and the guilt that comes from that, and then apparently the punishment that needs to come. And it's all just a delusion. It's pointless. It's futile. There's no reason for it. There's no purpose for it. There's no meaning to it. This is the whole teaching. Fortunately, because if any of this had any meaning, then you'd have to accept it as real. Meaning gives reality, isn't it? True meaning would give it reality. Then you'd have to accept it as real, and that's just your lot. You'll suffer and die. Fortunately, Yeshua's saying, no, you don't have to accept it, because it's all false. So you can let it all go. And that's what he's encouraging us to do. Okay, so let's dive into this Song of Prayer, shall we? Which is the final supplement. We finished the purpose, process, and practice psychotherapy manual. So this one is the second supplement to the course, that I believe is now part of the course. It's in the third edition. It's included, as is the psychotherapy one. So the course has now got these supplements in it, but in the early editions it wasn't included. So called the Song of Prayer. I think it's actually not the Song of Prayer. I think it's Song of Prayer. Introduction. So talks about prayer. Translated this. So read this in the original, and then the alternative, sentence by sentence. It's just 3 paragraphs. Then we can do a meditation on the lesson, and this to end the session. How does that sound?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
Prayer is the greatest gift with God. Sorry, prayer is the greatest gift with which God blessed his Son as his creation.
At his creation, yeah.
Blessed his Son at his creation. It was then what is to become.
Well, read it in the alternative as well.
Oh, sentence, yeah.
Yeah.
Prayer is the greatest. Prayer is the greatest gift with which pure formless awareness of perfect love blessed its extension when it was extended. It was then, it's going to be more difficult because there's no numbers.
They are. They're just very small.
I can't see them. There's numbers there.
There's,
Oh, yeah.
there's a number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, see. Right. It was then what it is to become the single voice creator and creation share the song the Son sings to the Father, who returns the thanks it offers him unto the Son. It was then what it is to become the single voice source and extension share the song the extension sings to the source, who returns thanks it offers it unto the extension. Endless the harmony, and endless too the joyous concord of the love they give forever to each other. Where am I? Oh, just trying to find where are they?
And in this
extension, and in this extension is extended, and that's it. 5. God gives thanks to his extension in his Son. Pure formless awareness of perfect love gives thanks to his extension in its extension. Taking the dogs. Just a bit more difficult to find. Oh, pure formless awareness of perfect love gives thanks to its extension in its extension. It's not so easy to see this moment. Where am I now?
You want me to make it bigger?
No, it's just, it's trying to get, with the numbers being so small, like my eyes have got to sort of go
make it bigger.
Yeah.
You go zoom.
Well, it doesn't really make any difference. It's the numbers are just so small.
Well, if I make it bigger, the numbers will be bigger.
Well,
there we go.
Sure, that makes much difference. But his Son gives thanks for his creation in the song of his creating in his Father's name, and its extension gives thanks for his extension in the song of his extending in his source's name. The love they share is what all prayer will be throughout eternity when time is done. The love they share is what all prayer will be throughout eternity when time is done. For such it was before time seemed to be. Oh, that was a bit was concentrated.
So read it from the top in the
so then I can
in the alternative. Maybe you'll get a bit more of a flow.
Yeah. Prayer is the greatest gift with which pure formless awareness of perfect love blessed its extension when it was extended. It was then what it is to become the single voice source and extension share. The song the extension sings to the source, who returns the thanks it offers it to the extension. Endless the harmony needs to be lifted up just a touch. Endless, endless the harmony, and endless too the joyous concord of the love they give forever to each other. And in this extension is extended pure formless awareness of perfect love gives thanks to its extension in its extension. Its extension gives thanks for his extension in the song of its extending in its source's identity. The love they share is what all prayer will be throughout eternity, when time is done, or such it was before time seemed to be.
Okay, so what's he saying in that one?
Well, it's about prayer and its greatest gift of pure formless awareness of perfect love, when it blessed its extension and when it was extended. So they share, the source and the extension share the song the extension sings to the source. So the harmony and the joys of the love is endless. So they're just forever giving to each other, extending, and just very grateful, and just a lot of extending and
yeah, because we translate sun as extend.
yeah. So then the sun's extending from the source, and so
it gives thanks to his extension in his sun, in which is where the translation comes from. The sun is just the extension. It stands to his extension in his sun. Well, it's just the extension of this awareness. We are the extension of pure formless awareness of perfect love, and nothing else. And all this language is designed to help you to accept that. On a deeper level. So he's pointing us to the idea of prayer as really the connection between source and its extension. When you pray, you are connecting to your source. You're merging with that true self in you, becoming one with it. That's the true prayer to God, not, oh God, please give me this, or please save me from this.
No.
Because then you're basically accepting a lack into your mind when you do that.
Yeah. So
true prayer is communion with
your
God,
source.
and that is actually the essential, the true Christian understanding of prayer. It's not, please God, do this and this and this for me. It's a joining, it's a communion with God, which is no different from, in the Eastern tradition, they call it meditation.
Yeah, I was just going to say what the difference.
You go into samadhi, you commune with God in the highest form of meditation. So the samadhi state, you are in this pure formless awareness completely. The world of form and illusion has dropped away, and you are that awareness, and you commune with God, if you would put it that way. So the prayer at the highest level, Christian mystics, who've written about these revelatory states, and you compare them with mystics, say, from the Eastern tradition, they're really saying very much the same thing. The language is slightly different because they come from different cultures, but they're saying the same thing about their experiences. They talk about the glory of God in the mystic, in the Christian mystic tradition. I experienced the glory of God. Well, in the East, they'd have different language. They say, well, it was nirvana. It was a state of samadhi. They have all this language to describe these states. The absolute, I experienced the absolute Brahman, or God, Brahman. Experienced the infinite absolute Brahman. In Christian tradition, they might say, I experienced the coming of the glory of God, and I had a revelation of God's love. It's really words talking about an experience that's beyond words. It's the problem with words. They don't really capture the depth, the profundity of the experience. How can they? And they lead to potential disagreement, because if you get locked onto the form of the word, you say, well, no, I can accept the glory of God if you're a traditional Christian, but I can't accept, the state of nirvana or bliss that they talk about in the East, not realizing that it's the same thing. They're talking about exactly the same state, just in different language, in different cultural context. So prayer at the highest level is the same as meditation. And what he's saying here is it's all just communion. It's communion with our source. So the extension, which thought it was separated, so that's every human thought that it was the person is separated from its source, but actually it is possible still to commune with that source. And that possibility is what we are asked to explore in and through this practice of this course, and make that possibility into an actuality. We actually experience this connection. The true prayer is that when we merge with our source, we surrender our sense of a personal separate self, and we enter into the sacred state of oneness. And again, there's a state has been described in the Christian tradition. It's been described in every religious tradition. So we just have to see that it is universal. It's timeless, it's universal, it's always available, and then accept it as such. And timeless. It's always been there. This is, again, you see the hallmark of the perennial philosophy is that it's always been there. It's timeless, it's eternal, it's always been there, it still is there. And you just need to accept it. And you accept it through the act of praying, communing with God, which is what we're doing continuously. When you practice this course, you are praying / meditating on these ideas to connect you with your source. All right. So happy with number one.
Yeah.
Good on to number two then. You can read that in the original and the alternative.
Yeah. To you who are in time a little while, prayer takes the form that best will suit your need. To you who are in time a little while, prayer takes the form that best will suit your need.
So let's personalize this. To me, I asked it to personalize, but didn't do it. So to me, who is in time a little while, prayers that form, prayer takes the form best will suit that. Will best suit my need. I have only one. Oh, carry on.
You have but one, yeah. What God created, one must recognize its oneness and rejoice that what illusions seem to separate is one forever in the mind of God. What pure formless awareness of perfect love extends as one must recognize its oneness and rejoice that what illusions seem to separate is one forever in the mind of perfect love. Prayer now must be the means by which God's Son leaves separate goals and separate interests by and turns in holy gladness to the truth of union in his Father and himself. Prayer now must be the means by which perfect love's extension leaves separate goals and separate interests by, and turns in innocent gladness to the truth of union in his source and himself. On the top,
Yeah.
to me, who is in time a little while, prayer takes the form that will best suit my need. I have only one. What pure formless awareness of perfect love extends as one must recognize its oneness and rejoice that what illusions seem to separate is one forever in the mind of perfect love. Prayer now must be the means by which perfect love's extension lets go of separate goals and separate interest and turns in innocent gladness to the truth of union in its source itself.
Its source and itself. Yeah. So what's he saying in this one?
So while we're still a little while in the time, prayer will take its form that will best suit our need. So the pure formless awareness of perfect love extends as one must recognize its oneness. And then we rejoice that illusions were separate. And so we need to let go of these separate goals and separate interests and turn to our innocent truth of union with the source itself.
You know, holy gladness and pure joy, perhaps maybe we could translate that as. Pure joy to the truth of union in its source and itself. Well, so he's saying prayer is really the communion. It's the mechanism of communion with your source. Another point in the course, he talks about prayer. The only meaningful prayer is to let go or forgive. So he's saying when you let go fully, then you're essentially engaging the highest form of prayer, which is not a common understanding of prayer, is it? But that's when you truly pray, you commune with your source. You must let go or your separate self to do that. So true prayer is true forgiveness, is letting go. The highest level. It's not, please, God, do this for me or do that for me at all. It's a letting go, in fact, of all those egoic desires and an acceptance then of the true self that is always perfect, holy, perfect, complete, sinless. This is the way, this pure formless one's perfect love's gift to you. Perfect love's gift to you, to me. Shall we say? Was that number 3, right? 3. Okay, so shall we move on to number 3, last paragraph?
Yeah. Lay down your dreams, your holy Son of God, and rising up as God created you. Dispense with idols and remember him. I choose to let go of my dreams, your innocent extension of pure formless awareness, or as the innocent extension of pure formless awareness of perfect love, and rising up as pure formless perfect love created me, you. Dispense with idols and remember it. Prayer will sustain you now.
Just wait a minute, Leah. Just trying to catch up. Anything. Choose. So I, as the extension of perfect love, choose to let go of my dreams and rise up as a formless awareness of perfect love. Extends me. Dispensing with idols. Dispense with idols. Lay down your dreams. Rise up. As God created you, you dispense with idols and remember Him. Letting go extends me. Rising. Choose to let go of my dreams. Rise up. As pure formless awareness. Perfect love. Perfect love extends me. Dispense with idols. Dispense with. Remember what an idol is? Translated.
Forgotten. Dreams.
Yeah, kind of. It's begins with a B.
Perception. No.
It's
B.
a P. B.
B.
Yeah.
Or B.
Yeah.
Well, not bodies. I mean,
the beliefs.
Oh, yeah.
Dispense with false beliefs. So the idol is a false
Yeah.
belief that I worship by giving it value in my mind.
Yeah.
And that, of course, makes the dream real.
Yeah.
My separate self real. Dispense with false beliefs and remember it. So just read that from the top of the alternative, because I changed it quite a bit.
I, as the innocent extension of perfect love, choose to let go of my dreams. Rise up as perfect love extends me. Dispense with false beliefs and remember it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Number 2. Prayer will sustain.
Prayer will sustain you now and bless you as you lift your heart to Him in rising song that reaches higher and then higher still, until both high and low have disappeared. Prayer will sustain me now and bless. Prayer will sustain me now and bless me as I lift my heart to it in rising song that reaches higher and then higher still, until both high and low have disappeared. Faith in your goal will grow and hold you up as you ascend the shining stairway to the lawns of heaven and the gate of peace. Faith in my goal will grow and hold me up as I ascend the shining stairway to the lawns of the state of pure formless awareness and the gate of peace. For this is prayer, and here salvation is. This is the way. It is God's gift to you. For this is the prayer, and here awakening is. This is the way. It is perfect love's gift to me. From the top, I as the innocent extension of perfect love, choose to let go of my dreams, rise up as perfect love extends me, dispense with false beliefs and remember it. Prayer will sustain me now and bless me as I lift my heart to it in rising song that reaches higher and then still higher until both high and low have disappeared. Faith in my goal will grow and hold me up as I ascend the shining stairway to the lawns of the state of pure formless awareness and the gate of peace. For this is prayer, and here awakening is. This is the way. It is perfect love's gift to me. So, right, so I, as the innocent extension of perfect love, need to let go of our dreams and rise up in this perfect love as it extends us, and get rid of our false beliefs. Prayer will sustain us right now. So as we lift our heart higher and higher until both high and low have disappeared. So then our faith will eventually start. The goal will be for it to grow and support us. We'll have more faith in it as we ascend this shining stairway to the pure formless awareness of perfect love and the gate of peace. So this prayer is here now for awakening. It's perfect love's gift to us all.
Oh, so the prayer is the communion with your source, really. And any practice that helps you do that. So forgiveness, letting go, meditation is part of that prayer. And he says the form, the previous one, the form of it is going to takes the form that will best suit my need. So maybe that takes the form of a meditation, maybe it takes the form of more of a reflection, contemplation, maybe a practice like 10-step letting go process, or just practicing a lesson. All of it is actually prayer, spiritual practice in the way he's explaining it here. He is prayer. So it's a much broader thing than a sort of narrow definition of prayer. He is much broader than that. Prayer is any spiritual practice that connects you with your source. All right. And then there's just a short summary I've done. Personalized executive summary, just one paragraph. You can read that.
Prayer is the greatest gift I receive at creation, a shared voice with the source, extending in a song of gratitude and love. In prayer, I recognize my unity with all of creation, setting aside illusions of separation. As an innocent extension of pure formless awareness of perfect love, I lay down my dreams and rise to remember my truth. Sustained by prayer, reaching towards the state of pure formless awareness, this path of prayer, my ascent to peace and joy, is the way of awakening, a precious gift from pure formless awareness of perfect love.
Okay. Summarize the summary.
Well, it's about prayer, and it's the greatest gift we can receive from creation because it's a shared voice from our source. And once we recognize the unity with all creation and putting aside all the illusions of separation, then our innocent extension of perfect love will reach us to this state of pure formless awareness. And this is our ascent to peace and joy, and the way to awakening. It's a precious gift from our pure formless awareness of perfect love.
A couple of words. Sustain my prayer. Rise to remember the truth. Supported. Prayer rise to remember the truth. Path of prayer, my center, peace and joy is the way of awakening. Precious gift from pure formless awareness of perfect love. To me and all my companions. So yeah, really what he's saying is prayer is spiritual practice. In this broader definition, the prayer is just this practice that can take many forms, but all of them, if they are helping you to connect with your source, are part of what I think traditionally people would think of. Most traditional Christians would think of prayer as when you're going to pray to God for something. You've got a specific need, and you pray about that need, your need, someone else's need. You know, that's traditionally how it's looked at, isn't it? This is much more broader and all encompassing. Prayer is the letting go of your belief in all illusions and the acceptance of the truth of the oneness of your mind with everything and everyone. This is prayer. Here's awakening. So prayer, true prayer is letting go. True prayer is always to let go. This is the way. It is perfect love's gift to me. And if we can accept this, then we realize how blessed we are, because this prayer, the means to connect with our source, is given to us. Every lesson he gives us, every workbook lesson, every section of the text, every part of the whole course is a prayer. All right. So, any other thoughts on this?
That's good. It's clear.
Prayer, just an introduction. There's more to come, so we'll do that in the next few days. Okay. So, should we do a meditation to end the session?
Well, it's
Let's
so
do that.
yeah. I mean, just a quick one because I know you're tired.
Yeah. Okay. And 10 minutes, 15 minutes on the lesson.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's great.
jump into that. Going. Okay, so we're going to meditate on today's lesson briefly. Lesson 330. So just sitting comfortably, go back straight, feet shoulder width apart. Up your hands in your lap. Close your eyes. And start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. Breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. The subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. clench the sphincter muscle to lock the energy in. Just draw the energy up the spine to your heart center, all the way up to the crown of your head. Just pausing at the top of the inhale. It's maximal inhale breath. Smile. Scan your mind. Just notice any thoughts, emotions, related body sensations going on, particularly anything that seems to be painful in any way. So it's any discomfort, maybe it feels contracted or limiting, restricted. Maybe there's physical pain, so tune into that. Just breathe into all of this. Take another sip of air and to top yourself up. Remind yourself that I will not hurt myself again today. I will not hurt myself again today. And blow out any temptation to hold on to any of this hurt, this pain. There's really no point to it. You have to see that pain is meaningless and pointless. It serves no purpose and no function. And so you can choose to let it go. So breathing in again, to listen to these words and speak them, and then when I pause, you speak them after me as affirmations of the truth as you exhale. You're breathing in, hold the breath briefly. You say this in the first person, translated form of the lesson. So I choose to accept letting go as my only function today. Choose to accept letting go as my only function today. Quite a profound statement. Breathing in again. Why should I attack my mind and give it images of pain? Exhale the truth of that. Why should I attack my mind, give it images of pain, and have a sense of releasing or letting go? Why should I attack my mind, give it images of pain? Breathing in again. And why should I teach it that it is powerless? Pure formless awareness of perfect love holds out its power and love. Right? Should I teach it that is powerless and pure formless awareness of perfect love holds out its power and love? Breathing in again. And implores it to accept what is already its own. Breathing in again. Breathing in again. A mind that is made willing. Mind that is made willing to accept perfect love's gifts. It's been restored to pure formless awareness. And extends its freedom and joy as perfect love becomes its own. Feel the freedom and the joy extending through. Breathe it into every pore, every cell, muscle, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. It's infused with this freedom and joy. Self, which pure formless awareness of perfect love extends, cannot sin and therefore cannot suffer. Exhale the truth in that. Cannot sin, you cannot suffer. Breathing in again. So I choose today that it be my identity. So escape forever from everything the dream of fear appears to offer me. Choose that it be my identity. Escape forever from everything the dream of fear appears to offer me. Choose today that it be my identity, and so escape from everything the dream of fear appears to offer me. So breathe in any remaining residual fear thoughts, anything that feels contracted, negative, limiting, anything that hurts you. Breathe into it. Imagine you breathing a golden or white light. The essence of this freedom and this joy, this love, streaming in freely to your awareness. We exhale, blow it out. The breeze of your breath. So my source, breathing in again. Your extension cannot be hurt. I think I suffer, only fail to know my one identity I share with you. And breathe in this identity. This is your true self, making itself known to you right now in real time. And now, breathing in again, I choose to return to it today, to be set free from all my mistakes forever, to be awakened from what I thought I was. Exhale the truth of that. Speak those words. I choose to return to it, this awareness, this identity today, to be set free from all my mistakes forever, to be awakened from what I thought I was. So it is. And just sinking inwards to the truth that this lesson points to, an experience, deeper experience of truth. Let that arise, heart and your mind, feel it fully, let it encompass and embrace you, surrender to it. Nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, nothing else to think about. Just breathe, relax, be still. For a few minutes. Deep, connected, peaceful silence. Experience who you really are. Experience the source of perfect love, pure formless awareness of perfect love. And so it is. Any thoughts come up to disturb this deep peace, just observe them, breathe into them. Remind yourself that I will not hurt myself today. Blow them away like dark clouds, black smoke leaving you. It's going, gone. To invite into your mind is this pristine, pure awareness beyond all the clouds, unaffected by the clouds. Surrendering completely to the sky, blue sky of your true awareness. The next couple of minutes of deep silence. So just Gently coming back. So awareness of the body and the breath, senses in the world. On the count of 3, you can open your eyes. So 1, just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. Subtle flow there into the nostrils. Bringing in, and scanning your mind, noticing any thoughts, emotions, related body sensations going on, particularly anything that feels negative, limiting, contracted, or constricted in any way, and you just exhale and blow it out. The breeze of your breath to nothingness that really is. It's going on. Black smoke or dark clouds have no real substance, just illusions. You let them go. Connect with your source, pure form source, perfect love, the bottom of the exhale. Appreciate this exquisite stillness. A moment or 2. So on the count of 2, notice the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, your feet touching the ground. Noticing what you're feeling and touching with your hands. Maybe there's a subtle taste in your mouth, smell in your nose. Notice that. Notice what you're hearing, smelling environment. Noticing all these things from a still, calm, and surrendered state of mind without illusions, showing the truth is true. Breathe in again. Notice you breathe in the subtle smell in your nose, taste in your mouth, perhaps. Notice what you're hearing. Near the wind. What's going on in your environment. Notice all these things, but without any judgment. Just pure witness, to observe without judgment. Everything is pure, holy. You can stay connected to your source in this state. And so what you're going to set the intention to do for the rest of the evening and on into tomorrow. So it is in, so it is done. And so now on the count of 3, open your eyes. So just take a minute to look around, observing various objects in the room, in a very calm, detached way, just observing without any judgment, and without judgment, everything's peaceful. Notice if you look at another object, it's the same piece, doesn't really matter which object you look at, so look at another one, and whatever your eyes happen to rest on. You can close your eyes briefly, you can open them, notice that it makes no difference. It's that underlying awareness, the ground of being, we've called it in today's discussion, is the same, no matter what you're looking at, whether your eyes are closed or open. So you come to learn that this is your fundamental awareness, there's nothing else to who you are, and ultimately come to accept it, which is the merging of the Father and the Son, the source and its extension, which is brought about by prayer, which is true communion of the Father and its Son. So as you are practicing, which is really what prayer is, any spiritual practice designed to connect you with your source falls into the category of prayer. So you're practicing and a very peaceful evening. That brings us to the end of the meditation and tonight's session. So thank you, Elaine.
Yeah, thank you. Good session.
Yeah, it was. So yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. You can do a lunchtime session if you want. 12:30. Does that work for you?
Might be a little bit later because I've got a bit of work in the morning, so might be a bit later, but yeah.
Like 1:30?
Yeah, that would be better. Yeah, 1:30. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
that's great. Okay,
See you
thanks very
then.
much. Okay, namaste. Good night.
Namaste. Right. All right. So that's a wrap for today. Thank you to Elaine for joining. If you have watched the live stream, then a couple of things you can do. You could subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to get notified whenever we go live at 6 days a week. Join us for the next I'm Letting Go Masterclass happening this Sunday. Go to theaolg.com to do that. Register for it's a free masterclass, in which I'll be talking about this program, this I'm Letting Go course and program. We're starting it again next month with the 6-week I'm Letting Go course, which leads into the program, it's the introduction to the program. So if you'd really like to get into Course in Miracles, then join that masterclass, because I'll be talking about how you can use this program to do that and really change your life. And finally, go to lifeball.com. You can subscribe to my Telegram list and get sent some information you saw up front, a daily quote, the lesson, and a short meditation called a breath break every day to help you practice that lesson. So it's all free at lifeball.com. The links are all below in the text box if you're looking at this video on YouTube. So I hope you'll take the next step and to meet you soon on the inside. So it's a wrap for today. Thank you again for watching, and hope to see you soon. Namaste, which means the true self, true peaceful self in me acknowledges the ones that same true peaceful self in you.